each and every one of you joining us here for this week's Your Manchester. Hello, everybody. How the heck? Look, that's not Shell.
I know.
What's going on? How are you, my love?
I'm good. How are you?
It's our Hayley Cartwright, everybody. Come to join us on this fabulous, lovely Wednesday evening.
Wednesday evening.
And we have got a proper good show for you today. We literally are full to the brim with silver prideness, aren't we, Flower?
We definitely are.
Well, I've not seen you since, obviously, this lockdown. So how have you been?
4 months.
4 months.
It's a night out.
And you're not on a beanbag this time, are you?
I'm not on a beanbag. I've actually been given a chair.
Well, you look great. So what have you been up to?
Thank you. I've been doing tongue and groove virtual shows. I've been doing gardening.
You've been doing gardening?
I have. I now own a mower.
All these things are just prompting me to go in innuendo mode.
I know. Calm it. It's live before the watershed. So, yeah, I've got a mower now.
Got a mower?
I'm very grown up.
Yes.
What else have I got? What else have I been doing? I've been baking.
You've been baking?
Yeah.
What have you been baking?
All sorts of stuff. Banana bread mainly.
Have you had a soggy bottom?
Not answering that one.
No.
What else have I been doing? Making furniture out of pallets in the garden.
Making furniture? What have you been making?
I'm making it's a bit like it's like a day bed, so it can be a sofa in the garden or actually out to sunbathe.
Well, that's ingenious, isn't it?
I don't know what's happened to me. I've become DIY mad.
Where did that idea suddenly come from?
Where do all my ideas come from in my head? I don't even know.
I think this is why we get on so well.
I think
to be
so.
honest with you. We're both bonkers.
We are bonkers.
Bonkers.
I'm proud of it.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Very good. We are, of course, today here talking to our lovely guests from Silver Pride. Now, Silver Pride, I'm really excited about this.
Me too.
Because I think it's a very underrated pride.
Me too.
Don't
Me
you?
too. I think it's really, really important to have something like this, without a doubt.
I do, definitely. And also, of course, we are bringing you today our brand new sponsor, Rehabilitation for Independence. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that, Hayley?
Oh, yeah. The Super Josh.
Yeah.
Actually, Super Josh would like to say a massive thank you to Stephen at Progress Housing Group for match funding the amazing total raised by Rock and Roll Bingo events they held in lockdown. Now, I think this is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. This was a really quick message that was sent in to us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks to Sam at the Major Hotel, the bingo events raised over £1,000, which will now be doubled thanks to Stephen. And the money goes to all the children and families who need it in our communities.
It's amazing. Now, Rehabilitation for Independence, they are a wonderful, wonderful company that do so much, bringing people back to the real life once they've had debilitating injuries, really.
Yeah.
And it's just fantastic, and we love them being our sponsor as well. So thank you very much to that. I suppose we should get on with the show, shouldn't we?
I think we should.
But what I'd like to do first is bring in our first guest. Now, he's the organizer of Silver Pride, and he is with us now. So let's quickly swing our way around over here as we meet Mr. Craig Burton. Hello, Craig Burton. How the heck are you? Can we hear you, Craig? Are you there, Craig? He's
coming. He's incoming.
Yeah. Okay. Then. Well, he is coming. Apparently, at the moment, he's a lovely box. At the moment, I don't know where he is. He's not seeming to come in. Let's try. Oh, it looks like he's frozen.
Oh, he's coming. It's coming.
Oh,
it's spinning.
He's gone. So let's.
Hey!
Hello. How are you?
I panicked then.
Are you all right? That was a bit scary then for us, I'll be honest.
I'm all right. Yeah.
It's all right. Your internet's ever so
Oh, it's all right. Do you know what? I'm in deepest, darkest France at the moment, so it's all a bit of a worry. But we should be all right. We've got some other people that will be joining us in a minute as well, so we'll be okay.
We have indeed. Yes, they're all here. We've got two Eileens at the moment, just waiting to come in. No. Okay. Nevertheless, tell us Silver Pride then. First of all, when is it happening, and where can we find it?
Well, cracking. So Silver Pride is just it's something that we thought up a while ago, and it's the 25th and 26th of July. It's a virtual Pride. We're not saying it's not virtual. It's online. So we're not just saying it because we knew that some of the bars and clubs and the likes will have been opening up. So we can film people in situ now as well. So it's going to be, it should be really good. It's something completely different that you don't get on any other Pride. So don't confuse what we're doing with a Pride march. And we'll be having a thunderclap, and we'll be doing the vigil, and we'll be doing all that kind of stuff.
So where did this idea come from to do Silver Pride then?
It's a bit bonkers, really. So we've friends of Dorothy, which we've been going for about 3 years. We do something. We don't want to. You know what it's like when you're LGBT. We kind of live forever, and we never will admit to being older, will we? Well, I won't.
I won't.
Never. We're 21 forever, aren't we?
Exactly. So we thought we'd. So we call things silver something. So we do silver Sunday lunches. So usually, we have like a family Sunday lunches in different places. So we have Silver Sunday lunch, and we thought Silver Pride, which has existed in the States or in San Francisco for a few years, where they said actually older LGBT people are not just like older people. They're kind of different. Their journey's been very different to lots of older people that we like your nan and your gran, and your granddad. But so we thought actually, and I remember a Pride in Leeds. Manchester are really cool. Well, most cities are really good, but Pride in Leeds, we did this thing for older people, or before Friends of Dorothy's time, where they got all the older people. They struggled getting around the march for a start, and then they got hustled and bustled. Then they got corralled into a hotel suite that was off the beaten track. Sandwiches, not like that. Sandwiches and biscuits, right, and a little bit of bunting. I thought, stab me in the thought with an eye if that's what is to come for my celebrations of Pride forever. So we thought we'd do something different. So we were all geared up, and last year we had it in the Corn Exchange. Manchester was going to do something fantastic for us this year as well. But of course, it's all been scuppered. So you don't put baby in the corner. And realistically, lots of the people that we work with now, they might not see next year's Pride. It's all right for lots of people. Not being morose, and we're very light-hearted here, but realistically,
But this generation that you're talking about, they've gone a lot more within the LGBT world, haven't they? Really?
Well, if you imagine, we've got somebody, and you'll probably speak to somebody later on, David, if David's around. But some people will tell you about the first Pride at 79. Imagine that. And that's what we're all about, is that we're about experiences, and you're never too old to do new things and try new things. And so we just had an idea. We've been, imagine we've been pulling people out and dragging people out, kicking and screaming out of social isolation for about 3.5 years. And we just got really good at it. And then this COVID thing happens. We said, no, actually, we're just kidding. You need to stay at home now,
Now, you mentioned Friends of Dorothy. You're having amazing guests on your stream, aren't you?
We're pretty good at. Well, do you know what the theory was? We thought actually, one thing for sure is most celebrities, older celebrities, they're stuck at home, aren't they? So there's only so much knitting and gin you can do. So we thought actually, you know what? They can say no, can't they? So we started off with Gaynor Faye, who's been in Coronation Street and Emmerdale, who's Kay Mellor's daughter. Gaynor came to our launch a few years ago, and she was great. And then we got a little newsreader, Gaynor Barnes, from ITV. She was great, telling the lads. And then we thought, let's think big. So we got Chris Biggins came on. Mm-hmm. We couldn't shut him up. He was fabulous.
I can imagine.
So then we thought, actually, let's think a little bit big. And actually, I just asked people, the worst that people can say is no, isn't it? And one thing that we all owe a little bit of a little doff your hat to, say thank you, stick your thumb up, is to our older community, in that we talk about, standing on the shoulders of giants. They were the ones that have enabled us to do what we're doing right now. They campaigned, they politically agitated. Yeah. And then, so we thought, right, let's have a crack at Miriam Margolyes. She's really mighty, isn't she?
Oh, yes. She's brilliant.
She talked about. She said, "Well, you might see it because we've got some of the clips on there, but And I said, Miriam, what publicity? What? Oh, do whatever you want, darling. Just do whatever you want with it." So yeah, they're so kind, these people, so generous.
She didn't hold back at all, did she?
Well, she talked about being. She says, "Well, I'm just an old dyke, darling." Stuff like that. It's like your gran saying something like that. you think, how did those words come out of that little sweet lady? You know? But, yeah, she was great, and all I could thought, well, Professor Sprout's just calling herself a dyke.
Oh, I know, it's good, that, isn't it? Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah,
I love her.
She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. She's fierce, and she was very honest. And the interesting thing about these Zooms, especially because the key here is that they're talking to their own age group and their own community, that they can definitely the synergy between their age group. That's the key, and that they can reminisce. They can talk about when we were younger. And that's key. So I think some of the celebs got as much therapy out of it as everybody else did. It's great.
You know what? You do all get. We're going to bring in our next guest in a little while's time, but before we do that, talking about things for Silver Pride people to do. Our Titters has been out and about this week, and he's been looking at little walks to do over in Marple, believe it or not. So let's have a little look at Titters' walk in Marple. Here we go.
If you ever fancy a gentle countryside walk, jump on the Sheffield train at Piccadilly, and for £4.60 off-peak you can be in Marple in 23 minutes for a lovely walk along the canal. The canal is a stretch of the Peak Forest Canal, built between 1794 and 1805 to transport limestone and quicklime from the quarries of Whaley Bridge to Duckenfield and the Ashton Canal. Along this stretch there are 16 locks as the canal descends 210 feet to the viaduct. At each lock the stonemasons built the walls and the impressive bridges, and carpenters built the lock gates that have stood the test of time. The canals were all cut out using picks, shovels and wheelbarrows. The skilled men were the cutters, and the labourers were known as navvies. At the bottom of the descent is a short walk to the aqueduct built by Benjamin Outram. This 8,000 cubic yards of masonry runs across 309 feet, which stands some 100 feet above the River Goyt below. It took 7 years to build, with 7 men losing their lives along the way. In brief, this is a lovely walk, with good footpaths, picnic areas, and just a pleasant place to meander and enjoy. So, until next time, this is Titters saying ta-ta. Ta-ta.
Oh, how lovely is that? See, Craig, would you go on that type of walk, Flower?
Absolutely. You are. I'd be having my trains with little flashing lights on the back of them.
Let's bring in our next guest along with
What
Craig.
happened then?
Let's bring her in. This is our Eileen. Come on, Eileen. Here we are.
I've never done that before.
How are you, my love? Are you all right?
Thank you. Fine.
Are you looking forward to Silver Pride?
I am, yes. Yeah, it's good. Well, it's the first one for me that's an online one. I've been to the Prides in Manchester a couple of times, but this first one for me, the Silver Pride, I'm really looking forward to it. Lots of really good things happening as well.
Yeah, and what does it mean to you, Silver Pride?
It's a really difficult one, that. Pride is something that I feel that we all have, in terms of we've all gone through all this political stuff to get where we are, and therefore we should be proud of that. But there's also the pride in our own being and our own persons, if you like. And I think that Silver Pride is really important for people who are of an older generation who perhaps don't get the chance to go to the prides in the cities, you know, actually take part in the big crowds on Canal Street and things like that.
You feel segregated from the prides that the obvious brides. Do you feel segregated from them at all at a certain age?
I've not been to one probably for about 4 or 5 years now, perhaps more, because I just find sometimes all that really loud frivolity and stuff like that wasn't my scene anymore. So, and also the crowds, you know, you get jostled about quite a bit, which is great when you're young, but when you get older, when you get older, it can be a bit daunting, you know. Yeah. So yes, I've tended to step back from the big prides, and this one I'm really looking forward to because I can sit in my own house and watch what's going on. I don't have to be jostled about.
See, I think that's the good thing about lockdown. It means we can attend all these events, but with a cup of tea, in the comfort of our own home.
In your pyjamas.
In your pyjamas.
Yeah, I've had to get dressed, especially today.
The top half.
Yeah. I won't stand up.
I think that'd be quite handy.
It wouldn't be.
You know, it wouldn't look right, really, to be fair, would it? It'd look like Food Man Chip. Anyway, so what are you looking forward to the most then from this year's Silver Pride?
Well, we had a Zoom meeting with Carol Vorderman and Owen. It's not Owen, it's Owen.
Owen.
Owen. That's it. Told how to pronounce it. I can never remember. And they're going to be doing something, and I'm really looking forward to that because they're both slightly bonkers, I think is the phrase, to put it in a polite way. And
we like bonkers, don't we?
Nothing wrong with bonkers.
Nothing wrong with bonkers.
They are very good friends, and you can see that they talk to each other and they bounce off each other. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
I think it's brilliant.
I think there's that many different prides now.
We're starting off with yoga.
It's what again, Sarah?
Starting off with yoga.
So we're starting some morning with stretching and yoga, and some of it's stand up, some of it's sit down. So however you like it.
Yoga.
Bit of yoga.
I always get confused with yoga and Yoda and yoga. I always confuse me. I just suppose yoga.
We have a yoga and do yoga.
It could be.
Yeah.
So what have we? So the pair of you, this is what can we look forward to within the actual day itself then?
Well, Craig, you would answer that one. You've got the program.
Well, you know what? The whole thing is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So basically, you go online, you buy, you go online, you get a ticket, and they're being. So it's all sponsored by O2 so far, and some other sponsors. So O2 are looking after us very nicely, and of course they're going to do the priority ticket with O2 as well.
Yeah.
And we're going to have. It's a really eclectic mix. One of the things about Friends of Dorothy is to entertain, to educate, and to connect. So the thing about this opportunity is, you know, we've got somebody doing how to keep chickens, how to do beekeeping, but also we've got some like serious debate. We've got how to wear the most fabulous drag makeup. So we've got some very famous drag makeup artists coming on.
This one does the fabulous drag makeup.
We've got oh yeah, well, it takes so long, doesn't it? I think hat off to. Crikey, out there! I haven't even got changed since 9 o'clock this morning.
Just out of interest, Craig and Riley, where do people get the tickets from?
Right, so it's on Eventbrite. So you go to silverpride.org.uk. So that's silverpride.org.uk. The tickets are available from the 6th of July. So that's whenever that is, it's soon. So the tickets are available from the 6th of July. The agenda and the program is evolving all the time. My God, we've got a little bit of, we've got a lot of everything for everybody. You know, we've got famous people, we've got people that are not famous yet, going to do some amazing stuff. We've got LGBT people, we've got a little bit of everything for everybody. It's very interesting. We've got some very interesting debate going on as well that people can join in with. So, you know, just get onto Silverpride. Now, the tickets are free, but you might want to make a little donation because we usually have our Silver Pride, our Ruby Slipper Ball that makes most of our funds to keep us going for the year. So you might want to make a donation as well.
So when you do this next year, is it going to be a full-scale event somewhere?
Massive! It's going to be huge. So I think we should keep it. I think it's enormous. I think we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it as a national thing. People are going to have little micro Silver Pride discos. We had a disco last year of music from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I'll tell you what, it was just magic to see. People were dancing and really enjoying themselves. We had it in the Corn Exchange in Leeds last year, but it's a beautiful sight to see. It's something for everybody. It's a homage to some of our older community, but it's something that everybody can join in on, and it's really interesting. We've got a Polari session as well. Teach yourself Polari.
It just sums up times of yesteryear, doesn't it?
It really does, does. I love all the 40s music and the 50s stuff. And
I love it all. And our Charlie this week, she's had a little reminisce back down the times of the passage of time.
She's bringing us her gin.
She's going to be talking about the passage of times and a little bit of gin as well. Let's have a little listen to what our Charlie's got to say this week, shall we?
Hello, my loves. I'm Charlie Hewson-Sykes, and welcome back to Booze and Bites. You might have noticed that everything's gone a little bit retro, and there's very good reason for that. This week we're celebrating Silver Pride, and whilst I might not be a silver vixen quite yet, I'm still old enough to remember the sophistication that is a prawn cocktail for starter, a Black Forest Gatto for dessert, and it all being washed down with Lambrusco Bianco. And am I the only one who thinks that vol au vents are totally underrated? For me, it's memories of family parties, a bring your own buffet of sausage rolls and cheese and pineapple on sticks, that poor soul who ends up stuck on the buffet that Nana brought back from Egypt, and somebody else on the deck chair that's not seen the outside in about a decade. But all these things are coming back. So to celebrate, I've broken out the Babycham and brandy, the Advocaat for snowballs, and I'm hunting for a playlist with plenty of disco. Anyone for a screwdriver?
I love a screwdriver. Do you remember screwdriver?
I
do.
do.
What they don't do anymore?
What?
Babycham.
Oh, God, my nana used to let me have Babycham. And I'll tell you what she mentioned, snowballs. I have to have a snowball every Christmas, mate.
Love a snowball.
Oh, love them.
What do you miss about the old days, as we call them?
The old days? I don't think I miss very much, really, because
I like to pick.
Sorry, you say what?
What was what?
Likes the what? The alcohol what? I'm not playing. Go on, Eileen. Come on, Eileen. You were saying.
I was saying there's not a great deal that I miss, because I think that these days it's there's so much more freedom, so much choice that there wasn't when I was younger. You know, so it's almost as if the floodgates have opened, and you've got lots of things that you can do and go to and see, and not be quite as closeted as you were when you were younger. Speaking personally, of course.
He's on a trip.
He's on a journey. Yeah. All right.
Same again.
We're just checking out where Craig was going then.
Yeah, he's showing you his house.
Very nice house. Very nice.
Another room. So.
What was it like then, Eileen, back in the day then, growing up LGBT?
Well, as I say, I was in my 20s before I started actually hanging out in anything remotely LGBT. So up until then, it was very much sort of trying to fit in with what was expected of a young woman or a girl. And I just didn't fit in. I was a tomboy. I used to climb trees and fall out of them and things and come home with blood all over me and all that sort of stuff, because that's what I like to do. But
the best types of girls are tomboys, in my experience.
Well, yeah, and it's sort of, I should have known, well, I knew, but everybody around me should have known. But it took until my 20s before I actually acknowledged myself what was going on with me. And by then, things were beginning to change. There were lots of political actions going on that I could have taken part in, but I lived in a remote northeast Lancashire town, so I didn't.
And Craig, for you coming out, how was that for you?
It was really. It was really. Do you know? It was really trendy when I'm 54, and when I came out, we were all new romantics, so everybody wanted to be gay then anyway. You know, it was really trendy. And then something happened called we all just, oh yeah, right, we're all coming out, and then AIDS and HIV happened. Thought, oh, hey, I need to get back in again, and you couldn't. So then we went through that whole journey of, and most of the community that we work with, they went through that whole journey of, you know, it was politically difficult to be gay. Then Clause 28 happened. So actually, just as it got, but you know what? We carried on anyway. When we look back, you think, crikey, we were afraid to have sex.
Yeah,
it was always that whole generation. So I'm not being morose, you know, I'm not being miserable about it because it just happened. But when you look back, you think, blooming heck, we had it really bad, but we still enjoyed ourselves. We had high energy music and stuff like that. But I remember my first Pride was London because we didn't have Prides up in the north then. And I was never a political campaigner. I was never a political agitator, not until my sort of latter years, really. Now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. You were talking about the AIDS, Craig, and I remember being in London, and there was a cafe there that was known to be a gay cafe. It was a cafe, it wasn't a bar, and people wouldn't go in there because they were frightened of catching AIDS from the cups. You know, there were all sorts of simple things like that, and it's a bit like now with this pandemic. You know, you don't want to get too near people because you just don't know. And then people didn't know how it was being transmitted.
Well,
right?
the advert at the time didn't help matters, did it, really? Because you remember the big boom for AIDS. I remember seeing that advert. It was really scary.
Yeah, exactly. And some of it was ignorance because nobody knew how it was passed on in the first instance. People thought you could get it from drinking out of the cup or using the same knife and fork. And that was the initial part of AIDS. And then as people found out how it was passed on, it became... I think probably more and more scary for the gay community because it was generally sort of being passed on through sexual intercourse. And like you say, Craig, people were frightened of actually going out and meeting people.
Do you think the main tabloids in the day, though,
Do
held that matter?
because the tabloids really, really stirred up that fear.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like they have done now.
It did. Do you remember the police chief in Manchester called James Anderton?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the chief superintendent of Manchester Police, and he basically he declared war on the gay community, and he did zero tolerance. And we thought, oh, let's come out. We used to come out in Manchester, and then you had James Anderton, which was the man was the devil incarnate for the LGBT community, and he got away with it. Crikey, how we've come on. Great, isn't it?
There is another guest that we should bring in at this point, I suppose. So let's bring in, here we are. Hello, my love, how are you?
Hello, darling, I'm very well, thank you.
Look at that. Perfect sound, perfect picture.
Yeah.
Hey, how wonderful. That's what happens when you're not in France. So what does Silver Pride mean to you then, my love?
Silver Pride will be my third Pride that I go on. I've only been out for 5 years, but I've known I've been transgender since I was 9 years old. But I knew the amount of trouble I would get in if I ever said anything at all about it. So I just kept myself to myself, did what I could just to keep myself going, keep Katie going. And then I think it was probably 3 years ago, I got the opportunity to go to the Ruby Slipper Ball, which is Friends of Dorothy's fundraiser. And for me, that was an absolutely fantastic night out. Not only that, but I had all my family with me as well. And then the year after that, I'd come out at work. So then it didn't matter who knew about me. I was able to go out in public And to be in a Pride March was absolutely fantastic for me, because you have crowd support there. You have people cheering you on, which I'd never had. I'd had people say, "Oh yes, I think you're brave."
Yeah.
But to have thousands of people cheering you on as you walk through the streets was great.
It must feel.
It feels great for us, doesn't it, when we go through the parades and when we're in the parades? It feels absolutely fantastic. Everyone's cheering. You know, you only get an odd couple, don't you, trying to cause trouble, and everyone else is cheering you on. It's wonderful.
You think of all these prides that happen within the cities as all-inclusive, wonderful events, and yet as we're learning, with certainly with the lockdown and the different events that have happened, there is quite a lot of non-inclusivity in them, isn't there?
There is, absolutely. Well, we heard about the incident in America, didn't we, the other day? It's quite scary in some places still. Yeah, definitely. I don't think we can all be complacent about it. I think we do have to be political, and we do have to push for things, because once you sit back, that's when, you know, things can tip the balance, can't they?
And I also think that the youth of today, talking again about Silver Pride and that generation, I don't think they take into account just how lucky they are. In fact, when you ask a lot of people of the younger LGBT plus crowd, and you ask them what Pride's for, the majority of the time you get, well, it's a good party.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily what Pride was invented for.
Yeah, we one of our programs, especially LGBT History Month, is that we connect younger people with some of the older people, especially in corporates. So we get invited to big law firms and engineering companies, building societies, and we talk to them. I was with a group of 20-something-year-old LGBT young people. They're not kids, are they? They're 20-odd-year-old. They did not know that it used to be illegal until 1967 that you were to be homosexual. They didn't know. They didn't believe me. So this is the work we need to do. Also, you know, there's stuff around the Holocaust. There's loads of education to do. You know, and then that's why we're able to do what we do, is because some of the sacrifices. You know, but some of the things that people did all those years ago that just manipulated, changed a little bit of campaign, a little bit of agitating, and we end up where we are now. There's loads of work to do. Let's not kid ourselves. There's big issues with homophobia within the LGBT community. So we're not particularly kind to each other yet. We need to work harder on that.
No.
Yeah, this is a new thing that we're all kind of learning now. As much as we feel that we're kind of progressing, now what seems to be developing is this angst towards each other, isn't it, Eileen?
It is, yeah. And I think a lot of people forget that Stonewall was originally started by a transgender woman, a black woman at that. And so everything that's gone on since Stonewall and Pride then, and still is, in my view, is a demonstration. It's not just a celebration, it's a demonstration for us to put ourselves out there and just show that we're there, and we are not going to stop fighting.
No. Do you think there should be one event that encompasses everything about the LGBTQ plus community, or do you think it's right to have these separate events?
I think.
Well, I've heard there's more than one gay bar in Manchester. I've heard there's more than one supermarket in Leeds. I think some people will like things. You know, we've got to give people choice, and we've got to give people opportunity. So the more the merrier for me.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Craig. It's about choosing, about which bar you go to and which group of people you mix with. I mean, not everybody gets on, no matter whether they're gay, straight, bisexual, transsexual, whatever. There are some people in this world that just won't fit in with your particular personality. So I think it makes sense to have different things going on.
And of course, even within the Manchester area, we have so many different events around what we call the Pride season.
We do.
There's Sparkle as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah. We've got Salford have their own, separate from Manchester.
Yeah.
You've now got the Bury one, which has been going 2 years, which is, I like the little community ones.
Yeah.
I've been to it. I love the community ones. But at the same time, I love Manchester, which is massive. You know, I love them all.
What is your thoughts on that then? Should it remain a pride or should it be
Special.
more festivals?
I don't know who you were asking that. Sorry.
Any of you?
Right. I live in Levenshulme, and there's a local Levenshulme Pride, or has been. There won't be this year, obviously, and that has really brought the community together. Lots and lots of people just get together on that day and have a good bit of fun. But also, it's an opportunity for the LGBTQ plus group to educate people, and I think that's really important. I think a lot of things get into the wrong boxes, as it were, through ignorance and nothing else. So education, so Pride is really so it's a demonstration, but it's also an opportunity to educate people about our community.
Katie, do you have a favourite event at all?
A favourite event?
A favourite event, yeah.
Well, I've only been to 2. My first one was Blackpool, which I quite enjoyed. But the Leeds ones, again, because it's my hometown, I think I'm biased towards it, to be honest. But I would like to go to some others. I've been to Sparkle.
Yeah.
I've been to Sparkle for 3 years, and that is, again, as transgender, that is a totally different event to a Pride event because it's specialised.
Yeah. I absolutely love Sparkle.
I love Sparkle.
I love it. I love it.
Love Sparkle.
Yeah.
Do you know what the most important thing is for each of these events, I find these days? And that's having good weather. Now, this is what I call a good segue. Thank you very much indeed. We are now going to hand over to the weather forecast for this weekend with our very gorgeous Paul Rudd.
Thanks Hayley, thanks Belinda, and welcome to this week's weather forecast, only for you guys on Your Manchester with me, Paul Rudd. And it's not the best of weeks this week, so let's crack on with the weather. On Thursday it's going to be cloudy and sunny. Friday we're going to have rain, Saturday we're going to have rain, and Sunday we're going to have sun and clouds. Now I have to tell you, my eyes were a bit bad last week, and that's because of the pollen. When the sun comes out, it means that we've got a high pollen count. So get your tablets when you can for your eyes. And that's it for this week's weather. Join me again next week, and it's back to you, Hayley and Belinda, live in the studio for Your Manchester.
Oh, how wonderful is that, everybody? I was just having a moment there with me apron.
Thank you, Paul, for that. Thanks very much.
It's nice. It's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right next week.
It's going to be terrible.
It's going to be, less rain next
I'm
week.
going to have to wear my rain back and everything.
Oh dear.
I know.
First world problems, eh?
It is, honestly. I'll be moist.
Moist.
Simmer Eileen. Let's bring you all back in for a second then. So,
It's gorgeous here.
Thank you. If each of you could sum up in one word why people should come to Silver Pride. Let's start with Craig first.
Oh, right. Well, it's a fringe. It's fringe. It's different. It's different. You don't see anything else anywhere else like this.
All right, then Eileen.
It's going to be fun and interesting and exciting. So it's not just one word; it's 3.
Very good. And Katie.
Oh, respect for older people.
That's a nice one.
Craig, you're fired. Listen.
And by the way, I don't think we've actually covered this, have we? When is it on? Because I don't think we've actually said the dates. Eileen, when is it?
It's the 25th and 26th of July.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
And tickets available. I think the link's on the comments as well, so we'll have a look at that. Other than that, thank you very much to Mr. Craig, to Miss Eileen, and to our very gorgeous Katie as well. You're absolutely fantastic. Have a fantastic Pride event, you gorgeous people.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gorgeous. Thank you so much.
tell us all about it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
What a fantastic event that's going to be.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm
you
definitely
looking
going to
forward
be.
to
Yeah,
that?
I'm definitely watching.
I wish I was older now.
I know. We're actually about. Oh God, we're
Maybe.
quite a bit below. You
We
know.
are not.
No, we are quite a bit
Yes,
below
we
the
are.
age.
That's right. Yes,
Yeah,
we
no,
are.
we're quite a bit
Yes,
below.
That's right. Yes, we are. So we've only just got time now to tell you about next week's show. We have got a fantastic show lined up. You won't believe who we've got next week.
Who?
Honest to God, you will not believe who we've got.
Who we got next week?
So we have got the creator of Benidorm, Mr. Darren Litton, and he's coming. Which camera am I on? Am I still on that one? And he's coming all the way from a place called Benidorm.
Ooh,
from
fancy
his new
that!
bar over there as well. We've also got Lucy Spraggan as well.
Oh, I love Lucy. Tell her I said hi.
Yeah, and we are doing something very unusual as well. We're also we've got a book launch as well, and we've also got a wonderful sort of virtual gin tasting experiment going on.
Oh,
are you excited?
I am excited.
Now the thing is, Shell's coming next week, so she's bringing me the gin in.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to sample that gin.
Yeah.
She can't because she drives.
She drives.
She drives.
What a shame.
Mad. I know. And I'm feeling absolutely distraught that I've got to be the head.
Why don't you send someone round to my house and I'll join you with a virtual test and you can share off with me? What about that?
No.
I think you know.
Right then.
I knew what the answer was going to be.
Let's have a look at what comments we've had today. We had any comments today? Anything good? Let's have to see anything good. Oh, look, there we are. My mother's there. There's my mother up there. There she is. Look, there she is in the nice.
You'll have to read it because I can't see it.
Okay. She says, "Hi, Belinda. Watching the show. Let's bring that on. Watching the show. You're looking good. We are, enjoying the show. Lots of folks. Thank you very much. Paul Rudd's also chirped in as well. There we are. Woo! Lovely. And a little bit higher, we've got Canal Street, Manchester, who have put the link on there for you as well. This is everything about Silver Pride. So if you do want to go and check that out, it is, of course, www.silverpride.org.uk. It's exciting, isn't it?
I think it's
Who else
brilliant.
have we got here? Yeah, welcome Craig Burton. Yada 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 yada, and Paul Rudd as well. Now, so questions for next week. If anybody's got any questions for next week, make sure you text them in for us because it's going to be quite a sensation, isn't it?
It is.
We've got a very full show next week.
I might bring you something myself.
What are you bringing?
I don't know. You'll have to wait and see, won't you?
All right.
I like to tease you. You know that.
You can come in and do it on your beanbag as long as you're far enough away from me. I'm not fussed.
Well, yeah. Maybe I might.
Maybe you might.
Maybe I might.
Just
You'll have to wait and
shock
see.
me. Just don't shock me. Now, don't forget, everybody, we are here every Wednesday for you, live, everybody, with a sensational collection of fantastic guests. Now, we are going to have to go now, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, but you have been fantastic. And thanks, everybody. Which camera am I on? Still on that
I've
one?
no idea. I've been doing this all night.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much to everybody for watching this week's episode. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Are you ready?
I am.
Thanks, everybody, for watching this week's episode of
Your Manchester.